I'm going to give you the idea of how I kind of run my meetings. Just so you know. I try to do not too much talking up front, just because I don't want to be okay. Yeah, not loud. But I want you guys to have more time frame than myself, so I'll introduce some of the speakers. You can certainly ask their questions. If there's things or time it's kind of running, I'll kind of take notes. It's kind of what I do. So if there's areas or subjects I may or may not know, I'll be spoken only when spoken to, so to speak. And so these meetings, I want to be yours. I don't want them to be mine, so to speak. I'll have some topics. And again, the topics for next month or the months coming. Let me know if there's areas that you want to talk about or people you want me to bring, and I'll do that as well. So, and I'll follow up with anything that you have as far as any issues or concerns as well. So get the fire department out here. Julian, he's going to give you a kind of brief overview of fire.
Hey, I'm good. Justin Julian, I'm the Science Chief for Aurora Colorado Rescue. I work out of Station 13, which is way down south, way down east, and by the Southland Mall. It's where our dispatch center is, police station. So I'm not in this area per se, but I've worked in this area for a long time. I was out of Station 8 for a long time on the tech rescue team as a captain on a ladder truck there. So I spent a ton of time in this area, in this ward. But currently, I'm kind of filling in for the meeting. Some things that the department wanted me to talk about. One is just to announce that we're reopening our Station 9. If you guys weren't aware, where Station 9 is located is Mexico and Buckley area, between Buckley and Tower on Mexico. It was an old station. It was built in like 1979. Had some foundational issues, cracks in the foundation. They had to tear it down because it was considered not safe to live in anymore. They tore it down and rebuilt this big, huge station. It was kind of a new generation of station. It's like a steel building, prefabricated station, but it's really pretty. It's really awesome. If you have a chance to go by and take a look at it, it's going to really help the firefighters be able to really respond better to the community. But that is something that was purchased using some ARPA funds. We're also planning to open Station 18 this next year, building it this year at Aurora Colorado. Station 19 will be down in Blackstone, even further south and east. So I'll give you the firehouse. That's going to be for next year. We're new to our Aurora Dispatch Center. Is going to be this thing called MD Alley, which is supposedly take about 1.5% of our calls, our call volume. We have pretty high call volume in medical calls, you probably all are aware. And they're putting in this program called MD Alley. What it is, when they get a phone call through 911 dispatch, and it's a call that maybe isn't necessarily an acute emergency, maybe someone's just feeling ill, they can get put on the phone with a doctor, a physician, and that physician might be able to, write a prescription over the phone, get them some other type of transport to the hospital or to a clinic, schedule an appointment, do that kind of stuff. It might take a little bit of the call volume away from us. Not much, 1.5%. About 15 calls a month, I guess. But it could be way better than that. We just haven't put in service yet. It'll start next month of February. Fire Academy. They just closed the entry level academy. So everybody who wants to be an entry level firefighter, they have to have already had their application in for an academy starting on July 27th. They're planning on hiring 35 more firefighters. And those firefighters are to prepare for these next 2 fire stations they're opening. It takes about 35 to 37 firefighters to open a fire station, just because of the way our shifts work. So the next couple of years left to hire. They're planning on 1 academy. We are currently I'm involved with is our CPAT testing. So it's a kind of standardized testing, nationally standardized testing to get hired at the fire department, physical agility-wise. It's a course that is laid out and certified by an organization that says that our course is the same as every course in every city around the country that follows the standard. Our course, we're doing it for free. Most departments are charging $150, $200 to run through the course. We don't charge anything. We're hoping that it attracts people from across the nation to come to our fire department, come by and at least see how we do things. They get to interact with us, firefighters, when they're at the CPAT test. And hopefully we can use it kind of as a recruiting tool to get some better candidates out there. Or not better candidates, we have good candidates. Some candidates from around the country that we maybe normally wouldn't see. Let's see, January is Firefighter Cancer Awareness Month. So just for the rest of the month, be aware that firefighters, we have a high rate of cancer. We had 10 firefighters this last year that were diagnosed with cancer of some sort. One of them was a good friend of mine. He got diagnosed with lymphoma, and he's been going through chemotherapy. He's supposedly cancer-free at this point, but he still has a long way to go to make sure that that's maintained. But we've had quite a number of them. We had some cancer screening that we did in this last year, and it really pointed out a bunch of this cancers that maybe we wouldn't have caught and could have had more disastrous effects. The fire department and the city council has purchased single layer gear for us. They built special little cabinets in our stations to hold our bunker gear. This negative pressure that will help us get rid of the carcinogens that come with our gear. In order to build our gear and make it fire resistant, they have to put a chemical in it to make it fire resistant, and that chemical causes cancer. So unfortunately, every time we put our gear on, we're exposing ourselves to carcinogens. The single layer gear gets us out of that gear for some calls. It doesn't have that fire retardant material in it. And then the cabinets kind of keep those carcinogens away from us when we're not working. Let's see. Martin Luther King Day, we will be participating in the parade and the wreath laying ceremony. And there will be, I have to read this because Dr. Martin Luther King will be, AFR was honored to have our community rooms in Station 2 and 11 be selected as a volunteer community service project to honor Reverend King. So they're going to be doing some painting, I think, in those rooms. Wildland fire prevention, I'll open it up to you guys to ask some questions about wildland fire prevention. That's probably the best way to handle that. And then the last thing is Community Risk Reduction Week, January 19th and the 25th. They'll be highlighting simple actions to reduce risk around your house, like trip hazards, smoke detector installations and battery changes and stuff like that. So that's kind of like the overview. If you all have any questions, like I said, when it comes to wildland fire prevention, I kind of like just to answer questions if you want questions. Otherwise, I can spend 3 hours talking about wildfire prevention. What I'll just throw out there is that just because it's the winter time doesn't mean that our wildfire risk goes down. It actually kind of goes up. It's drier air. The grasses and timbers tend to dry out a little bit more. We've had a really low amount of moisture, so everything's really dry. In the city, it seems like we wouldn't have any risk of wildfire, but we do. We have this big, Sand Creek area.
Why does the military base put on the sirens, and what are those like white dome things on the military base?
I can only answer what I know.
Okay.
The white domes on the military base are like dishes, like satellite dishes.
Oh, satellite dishes.
Yeah. Dopplers use the same kind of geodesic domes on top of them. That's all I know. The sirens, we do in Aurora use sirens to alert people of, usually it's weather events, but really those sirens can be used for really anything.
Anything?
We can make announcements through them. If there was some natural disaster usually, or we need to make some announcement, they could actually put an announcement through that speaker. The speaker's on top of a big pole and it spins around. And that's it makes a tornado warning sirens, we would call them. So, but we could make other announcements through those. They're supposedly upgrading all those systems, but at this point, we're still using those. It's not necessarily coming from Bummer. We have all of the same.
So they're just warning systems, but
Yeah.
do they just, most of the time they go off, is it just like a drill? Or
Testing.
something? Testing? Oh, okay.
If you hear those devices going off and you look up and there's no tornado or it's not telling you anything, then that's a test. If it's like a really cloudy day and there's like, it looks like kind of tornado weather and those are going off, you should be looking around to see if
They're looking around. When that tornado happens, the last tornadoes that happened, especially the one in the town just east of here, I was working at Shamrock Foods Company, and I didn't hear nothing about no sirens going off or
They
anything.
don't always go off. They don't always, it doesn't always work. Someone has to actually set them off.
How come
Usually Office of Emergency Management does that.
Oh yeah. How come they didn't set them off if the tornado was close by?
I don't
Yeah, they just.
Yeah, sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't.
Sometimes it
It's
happens.
like a benefit, but not a guarantee.
Oh, okay.
The city is also in the process of updating that whole system because it's kind of outdated. It was probably back in the 60s, 70s. So they are looking to do more of the technology so that they can get to your phones. So that way you have access to that information quicker and sooner, so you have an idea of where those things are happening. So that technology is coming.
Yeah.
There was an app or a program you could download that was like an early warning. Something's going on in your area, shelter-in-place stuff, but that system got hacked and it never got repaired, so we're not using that system anymore. So they're going to come up with new systems and new technology to help people get warned of things that are happening in the community.
Okay.
Reverse 911 doesn't really work either because everyone's on cell phones now. It used to be like, we just reverse 911 this whole neighborhood. Well, I could have a cell number out of California and be living here in Colorado, so it doesn't work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so people's phones are still.
Yeah, you can be from all over the country and be living here.
Yeah, my cell phone's out of state. Yeah, something else.
All right. Any other questions for me? Oh,
Are citizens still welcome to do ride-alongs?
yeah.
Only the ages.
Well, the city of Aurora has heard that, people over the age of 60, they run additional ways to get around. And sometimes, they don't have a car, or they're relying on a friend for transportation, or they live too far from a bus stop, or it's too difficult to use the RTD access-ride system. So, with the support of the city council, Aurora partnered with RTD to create a new transit system, or a new service called Aurora Rides. And we have these pamphlets over there on the table. And this is serving this area of the city that's west of 225 from about Parker on the south, or Parker Road on the south, up to city limits on the north, including Heather Gardens. This service is Monday through Thursdays, 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can get a ride by either calling this number on the pamphlet or using your smartphone to download an app. You can request a ride either way. Completely fare-free, and it's serving anywhere in that area. Again, west of 225, including Heather Gardens, city limits and city limits. We had a soft launch in December. You'll probably hear more about it through social media, through the city's communications channels. But I just want to let you guys know about it. It is a 3-year pilot program. We will be looking at evaluating funding opportunities as it continues. And we've also heard from other people that, hey, that's great, I don't live in that area. How about coming further east? So we'll also be looking at those opportunities. You don't have to be a resident of that area. You don't have to be an employee of that area. You don't have to be a resident of Aurora. It's just if you want to travel within that area and you're over the age of 60, you can use this service for free. So, I'll be around after the meeting in case there's any additional questions or people can ask questions.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, good evening everyone. Thank you for inviting me in this session. My name is Gopal Givire. I work for Park and Tourism Department in the city forester. The topic I am talking today is more of like a more technical stuff, but it has more practical aspects of like implication. That's why I am talking about
You're okay?
mineral gas borer.
Can you speak louder? Do we have a mic?
So
Wait, what?
I'm talking about mineral gas borer, about this pest. I will be using different terms. I will be talking about insects, pest, borer, beetle. There are different names, but in this discussion, it is like the same thing. Why it is same? When you see this is the mineral gas borer, actually the enhanced image of this borer. Why I am talking borer? This is called the insect. What insect have a different type of life cycle. Like they do not produce like animals, like a man or something. They go through different life cycle stages, and there is a one stage in this life cycle which we call larva, and we can also call that as a borer, because that bores the tree trunk, go inside, stay there until it develops like this insect. That's why we are using the term mineral gas borer. Sometimes you heard in this type of documents, they also talk about beetles or something. So, why this borer is a huge topic this time? That's the key message I want to share here. This mineral gas borer is not native to USA. This is coming from outside USA, somewhere around 1990s. And this pest is native to Northeast Asia, in Russian Far East, China, Mongolia, Japan, and Korean region. And scientists say that this pest was transported to USA somewhere in 1990s by the wooden pallets that we use for shipping things in the sea, and somewhere from the wooden package materials made from these ash trees. And it transported to USA in 1990s. It remains like a dormant for about a decade. And it was first noticed in a alarming state in Detroit region of Michigan in 2002. And going through that, this pest arrived in Colorado in 2013 in Boulder area. And last year in June, we found this pest in Aurora. That means it's like moving from Asia to US, from Michigan to Colorado, and now we are in our city last June. So why this is a problem? Like there are lots of pests and borers and insects in the environment. But why this is so a hot topic this time? I will share this one in my presentation. So in order to understand this infestation, I will go a little bit more about. Sorry for this. So the middle circular area, I am trying to see a tree trunk of an ash tree. I understand. I believe you guys understand what I am talking about, ash tree, right? The ash tree. I will share some videos here. What the ash tree looks like. This is the ash tree trunk, and this mineral ash borer, the life cycle of this pest lived around 1.5 months once. This is the life of this pest, 1.5 months, adult beetle. It's very tiny beetle, not a bigger like this, it's an enhanced beetle. So, within 1.5 months of his life, this adult beetle laid eggs only in the bark area of ash tree, no other trees, only ash trees. It selects ash tree, it goes there, it spends about 1.5 months in the ash tree leaves. And when it is adult, it ate all the ash tree leaves.
important food.